Okay, Stephen, I hope you're doing well, mate. And I just want to say that I'm super, super fucking excited to, go through this podcast with you and discuss this incredible journey that you've had. So before we really get into it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give kind of like an introduction so people get a context of how this all began. So Stephen contacted me about 12 weeks ago, right? And the first thing that I noticed when you contacted me was, you're obviously no stranger to the gym. You've built a great shape. You had a lot of size on you. And to be honest with you, it's not like you're in bad condition. You're in good nick. So when you came to me, already I'm buzzing. I'm thinking, man, what does this guy want to do? And then you said to me that, look, man, I want to get into a next level of shape. So tell me this. When you first contacted me, where were you mentally? What were you looking to achieve? And what spurred you on to do this?
Well, there was actually a couple of things that was kind of going on in my own life. Obviously, with my mindset and that due to work.
Yeah.
And basically, what happened was I've been working for the same guy for about 13 years, right? And the only way for me to progress further was to leave him, right? So I was kind of feared to leave. So what happened was I'd left. I went out myself, self-employed, to do obviously the job that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then it was maybe about 4 weeks after that, it was something just changed in my mind. I was like, I wasn't scared anymore to do anything, to try.
Yeah.
So I was out walking one of my dogs, and it was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget it. I was just looking through my phone, and you had popped up.
Oh, wow.
And I went, do you know what? I says, I'm sick. I mean, usually what I'll do is I'll get a wee bit lean for a holiday, and then I'll just chuck it, and I'll end up just getting, it's like a yo-yo sort of diet and sort of thing. And I've done it for years, and that morning when you had popped up, I just went, do you know what? I'm sick of this. And right there and then, I think it was like about 6:30 in the morning, I signed up to Game Seekers. I get right on, I went, that's it, we're doing this. And initially, it was just to do the fat loss phase for the 10 weeks to see how far I could go. I wasn't even thinking about a photo shoot at that time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was maybe 2 weeks in, I seen that I'd lost a good bit of weight, and I've been eating more food than I've ever ate in my life during a cut. So I went, do you know what? I wonder if I could be ready for a photo shoot. And that's when I had messaged you, and I went, look, I'm thinking a photo shoot. Where do you think we'd be? Obviously, Jake would be ready, and your words were fucking 100% we'll be ready. And do you know what? And I went, well, let's do it. Let's see how far we can go here.
Yeah, it's just crazy because when you contacted me, I was over the moon because like whenever I get a guy like you or someone like you come through the door and you already have that base, you already have that development. For me, my head just starts spinning because I think like, how far can we take this? Like, what can I do with this guy? At the same time, obviously, like I'm thinking about how does your body respond? How are you responding? Right. And already in the first 2 weeks, you responded so well. And the feedback that you were giving me, like saying to me, look, man, I can't believe the food that I'm eating. I can't believe how I'm changing. The fat's just dropping off. And straight away, because you've got that thick muscle, we started that definition. So when you said to me that, like, look, do you know what? This is going better than I thought. How about we do a photo shoot? Straight away, I was in there because I thought, yes, look, I'm not going to sit here and, BS. I know that what I would have to put you through, but I knew just within 2 weeks, one, the body was 100% we could do it from the condition that you're in. And your mentality, like I know you're a hard worker, you're very driven, and you're very passionate about this. So I was excited just as you. And as we began to go on, I would say from week 2 to week 5, your body was just changing every single week. Do you remember that, like that first phase? And I mean, what was you thinking at that time?
Well, some weeks I would look at myself and I'd go, I can't really see anything. But at the same time, you're obviously seeing, this is your sort of job as well, right? You're seeing people change week in, week out. You know what to look for. When I'm looking at something, the only thing I kept seeing was a wee podgy bit in my belly. Yeah. That was it. So I'm going, I don't know what he's seen.
What I mean? I'm glad that you're honest about it, because that's the reality for a lot of people. Like even someone will look at your transformation, and I'm going to be honest with you, they'll even look at you in the first few weeks and they'll be like, man, that guy's got a great physique. But you're just like everyone else, right? where your head's playing mind games with you. Like, I remember you checking in, I'm thinking, this guy's making big progress, but exactly like everyone else, I've been there. You look in the mirror and all you're seeing are the fat parts in your body. Do you know what I mean? And I will say this, that, you know, as we began to come down, the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that I'm looking at hundreds of people's bodies every weekend. So I'm really able to, my eyes see so many bodies. I'm so attuned to be able to see when people have made differences. And I think it's a huge thing. I think it's a huge thing because when you have those weeks where you're dieting and you are losing weight, you're losing fat, you're keeping to your cardio, you're keeping to your training, but you're not seeing that yourself in the mirror, you know that without me there saying to you, Stephen, man, keep focused, you see the changes. That's when most people drop off.
Oh no, I would have 100%. And I'm not going to lie, like if you weren't there, it probably would have been maybe another couple of weeks, and then I would have just ended up fading away from it again. And that's typically what I do. And I think what made it better as well is not just having you there, right? That made it slightly easier for me, right? Yeah. Because you're seeing things that I can't, and I'm trusting you. So I'm like, right, 100% trust. And then we booked the photo shoot, and I went, I paid quite a pretty penny for this. I was like, there's no point in me going half-assed into it. Yeah. And I was like, I need to do it. I need to give it 100%. And obviously, I didn't know what to expect leading up to the tail end of obviously the cut, where obviously the legs started going, and I was ready to chuck it because I ate a bagel. And I mean, I'll never forget when I tell you that. I thought that was it. I ruined it. I ate a bagel. That's it. I'm done.
Crazy. It's crazy how you get in your own mind. And I mean, for people watching now, so 5 weeks in, we've already lost a good amount of fat. And I tell Stephen then, that's when we're going to flip the script. So we go over to a daily check-in plan, because when I'm working with somebody in the capacity of a contest prep or a photo shoot, I want to make sure that every single day I'm connecting with them, seeing how their physique is looking, seeing how they're improving, seeing how they're progressing. Hey, Stephen, I think your camera's frozen.
You're froze.
You froze too. I'll pause this record. Actually, if you try and get it back on, we can cut this out. It's not a problem. That's better.
That's better now, aye.
Yeah. So I picked up where we were checking in every single day, right? When we stepped up to the every single day stage, and I really started to put the pressure on, we're talking strings of basically hardly any carb day, right? And double cardio. This is the first time that you've ever delved into that sort of regime, for that sort of fat loss. I mean, I want to know this, man, because obviously when we were doing it, my role, my job is to keep you going, keep you focused, never let any negativity, doubt come in, and keep basically pounding you. Now we're done that, and we've got the result. Can I ask you how it's a wake-up call, isn't it?
Aye. I'll tell you the now, right? Obviously you hear it. Obviously, bodybuilders do it for a living, right? They get themselves into some frightening condition for stage, and they do it for a living, right? Yeah. And see the more respect that I've got now, it's unbelievable. I mean, I wasn't even in as we were going for stage condition. Another maybe few weeks, and I could have been there. Yeah. But even for me to get down to that, I didn't think it was possible for me to get into that shape. To be honest with you, I didn't. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And having you there. And this is what I was trying to say to people as well, right? There was that many people that were interested in the condition that I was going to get myself into. Yeah. Right? And I was like, for fuck's sake, like, what's the big deal here? But these guys have seen me training for years. There's older guys in the gym who have seen me progressively got bigger. Yeah. So they're like, fuck, I can't wait to see you. And it was like, oh, who's your coach? And I was obviously mentioning yourself. And then there was maybe about 4 or 5 people that had contacted you through the weeks of me progressing. Right? And I was like, I know. And I was going, look, I said, I don't know what it is. I said, I've had 1 or 2 coaches before you, right? And it's just wasn't the same. Yeah. I was like, I think I've actually found somebody who I can not so much relate to, but there's just something there that I click with yourself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It makes it that wee bit easier for me to do what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Completely. But I'll never forget the time that when I actually started following you. Yeah. It must have been maybe just before when COVID hit. You put the picture up when you got yourself lean and you're in your back garden, you're standing at the side, and it was on the Gym Outcast page on Facebook, right?
Yeah. Do you want to? I think your thing frozen again, man. Do you want to try again? That's perfect.
Aye.
So yeah, you were an Outcast, and then
I was on Gym Outcast, and I seen your picture come up, and I was like, "Fucking Jesus Christ!" I was like, "That was a condition I'd love to be in."
Yeah.
And that's when I started following yourself, and I think I gave you a message back then, just to see obviously what the script was and that. But mentally, I wasn't there mentally, so I never followed it through.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm quite glad I didn't, because God knows what would have happened now.
Yeah.
To this stage, do you know what I mean? So, I'll never forget that time when I'd seen that picture, because I thought that's the motivation, that's where I would love to get into that sort of condition. Do you know what I mean?
That's what it's about, brother. That's what it's about. And I tell you this, that, you know, this is so that these last 5 weeks when we pushed, and you're like, I know you're fatigued, and we'll go into that in a bit, like how bad, how difficult and how testing it is the last 2 weeks. But let's say like those 5 weeks going in, and yes, you're pushing, you're hungry, you're tired. But when you started to see, like, people are asking you, like, man, what the hell's going on? Who's your coach? What they've seen you for years, and all of a sudden they've seen your body just rapidly change. How was it for you looking in the mirror? Because I remember, like, you just couldn't believe that the definition coming through, and how your physique is just in front of your eyes morphing.
I was getting veins in places I didn't even think I could get veins, put it that way, right? And I'm going, fucking hell. And then there was other times that maybe I was a wee bit flatter, and I'm going, I don't look as good as what I did the other. Obviously, it was certain days that you get a wee bit more carbs and vice versa. But everybody kept saying to me, and I'm like, But there was a time where I just kept thinking, I don't think I'm going to be ready. I think it was maybe about 3 or 4 weeks out, and I'm just going, I don't think I'm going to be ready. And everybody's going, chill out. Like, the people who have competed before have been like, you've still to dry out, you've still to... And obviously, I've never been through this process, so I'm just thinking, now they're talking shite.
This is it.
I'm just like, it's not going to happen.
This is it, mate. This is why I love this stuff, because it's real. It's real. Like, I remember, I'll be honest with you, I remember thinking to myself, like, especially when we got into the last 20 days, I remember thinking, like, oh my goodness, because I know you had the doubt there, because what people don't realize is exactly as you said, you're not looking like your pictures every day. One day you're looking flatter, one day your pop isn't as good, one day you're looking smoother. And for you, the first time going through, it's a mental roller coaster, because people have this vision that they get on a plan like what you did, and every single day they're going to see themselves as better. But the reality is, a lot of the time, you're thinking, am I getting better? Am I looking worse? I could be better here. I'm not great here. I've only got this much weeks left of the photo shoot. Am I going to do it? When you started telling me that, I was thinking, like, I know, because you took a step up. And like I said, people don't realize you didn't come to me saying to me, Afser, let's do a photo shoot. You decided a couple of weeks in. So time was already against us. I remember thinking, like, I hope you just keep that focus. I hope you keep that drive and that passion, that self-belief going. And then we entered the 2 weeks, and man, that was brutal, because that was like chatting to you every single day. And tell people, man, like, your legs, they were gone.
They were fucking just disappeared. Yeah. And I remember saying to you, look, I'm sorry, I keep moaning about my legs, but I'm just going to keep moaning about my legs, because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I was like, I've never felt anything like it. And I know my job had a big part to play in it. I don't normally walk up this amount of stairs at work, but it just so happened that the time I'm cutting for a bloody photo shoot, I need to walk up to the eighth floor every morning, and then on the way down to the basement to have my tea. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, and then I remember it was tolerable, right, up until the week before the photo shoot, and I done legs. Now, I'd already remembered my strength was starting to go. I'm like, I'm not wanting to put my body under a load of stress and try and lift a weight that I'm going to struggle with. So I remember just sort of dropping the weight slightly and just try to do more reps, just to keep everything sort of going. And I remember doing legs, and every time I tried to do something on legs, they were just shaking, bouncing all over the place. And I was like, oh, what is going on here? And then usually I do the Stepmaster for cardio.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do the Stepmaster, so I just went on the treadmill and just went for a brisk walk to make sure I had it done. But every time I was trying to walk, they were just going away from me. And people were like, oh, it's because you've done a great leg day. And I'm like, no. I was like, no, I know what a good leg day feels like. This fucking is that. This is that. But I'm glad that they're actually still a wee bit, they still feel a wee bit tender than now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've not even been to the gym this week. I've been once. I'm not gonna lie, you're right. I've only been once.
So you have to take a rest. That was a hard campaign. And you know, people don't realise that they'll look at you during that stage and they'll say, man, like you look so muscular, you look so strong, but you feel the complete, this is what people don't realise. Get to the body fat we're talking about, where literally got veins everywhere, everything's separated, everything's out. Reality is Stephen was only a couple of weeks away from being in contest condition. So we're very low body fat here. And what it becomes at that stage, and you tell me if you agree with me on this, it becomes more a mental challenge than a physical one. You're literally trying to just get through each fucking day. The hunger is, you're never satisfied with any meal.
No. The only thing that satisfies me, right, it was when you gave me oats at night and I figured out how to make baked oats. Right? that was the best thing on the planet. So every time when I had them, I was like, yes, I've got baked oats to look forward to. That's what was keeping me going some nights. And then when I never had it, I was like, oh no, man.
Yeah. Brutal.
Mentally, obviously it was physical as well, but mentally challenging. There must be a stronger word than that, because it was tough. But that's what I'm saying. For me, leaving my old boss and becoming my own boss and taking that leap has given me the mindset and the mentality to do this, if you like. And I didn't think I'd do this, and now I've smashed this. So I'm like, what's next?
No, you're absolutely right. I think, a lot of people don't realise this, that when you're working for someone, right, you have this ceiling above you, this limit. And you're absolutely right. Going from a workplace to where then you become your own boss, you start to realise that I'm capable of a lot more and I can do a lot more. And it gives you that motivation. I'm so glad that it took you on this journey. And can I ask you, that last week when we dried out, I mean, you were changing by the day, right? And I mean, you're seeing your legs fully separate, right? You're seeing your abdominals come through absolutely crystal clear. You're getting veins everywhere. The body's getting tighter and tighter. I mean, how was that last week for you, man?
Oh, I was glad it was the last week.
Yeah.
But I was looking at myself and I'm going, even my other half, my fiance, she's like, fuck's sake. 13 years, what is going on here? Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh man, I love it.
People are obviously like me in the gym. You're looking. I'm a people person, right? I talk to anybody, and I'm quite a happy guy, right? And see, for the last couple of weeks, I was a different person.
Yeah,
I was a different person. I'm not going to lie. I was a totally different person. At work, couldn't boss with anybody. Down the gym, people were trying to talk to me, and I felt ignorant because I just kind of went and just walked away. I actually had to apologise to one of the boys that work in reception in there, because he tried to speak to me, and I literally just pied him. And then I went away. I literally just pied him, and then I came back in and I seen him, and I went, Gavin, I said, I need to speak to you. I said, I'm sorry about that, mate. I said, I want to get done here. I want to get it done, and I want to go home. I said, and he went, look, he's like, I understand. I know it's hard. And I was like, look, I'm sorry. I said, just give me after next weekend, I'll chat to you for as long as you want.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
But it's the truth. It's the truth. When you're in that mode, like I say, people don't realise that when you're pushing for the super low levels of body fat, and you've never been there before, you don't know what to expect. Man, you're just trying to just get through each hour. You don't have time to talk. You don't have the energy. You don't have the energy to even be like entertaining people. All you have the energy to do is just try to get through your day.
That's it.
So now we're on the other side, right? You've done your shoot and everything. I can't wait to get the proper pictures so we can like show that difference. How do you feel? Are you really happy that you've done it now? Do you feel that's big?
See, when I went down for the shoot, that was a wee bit nervous. Didn't want to take my tap off and that still. So I'd end up taking a half. But see, when I was in the zone. I was brilliant. Probably brilliant. And he was showing me the pictures, some of the pictures when they were done. I was like, no way, man. I was like, no, that's not me. What have you done? It was brilliant. It was, and I really, 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 I can't wait to get the photos out there because there was 18 I was allowed to choose from, right? I've ended up choosing 21, but I'm going back in again to choose more because there's a good few there, and I could spend a fortune on them, to be honest with you, because at the same time I want to try and get as many as that I like. Yeah, it's my first time doing it. It's my first time doing it. Do you know what I mean? So exactly. I want to remember every image or every pose and what I done on that photo shoot, just to compare it to the next time, because there will be a next time. 100%. There's going to be a next time.
1000%. And I'll tell you this: that my biggest regret for my own training, my biggest regret is I didn't have more pictures, because I promise you, you and I, well, first of all, you've captured that moment. So that whole hard work hasn't just gone to an Instagram picture. It's actually gone to something you can solidify, that you can look back on any time in your life. That's the first thing. Second thing is that I urge clients to do this sort of thing because now we've got something to compare against when we do the next one. Do you know what I mean? We know how we can improve. So coming out of that, man, like I've already spoken to you about this, but I would like to go through it again, really, is like, where do you, this next year, 2022, like what's the goal? What's the goal? Where are you looking to take this now?
Well, obviously, what I had planned was to obviously do a competition. Yeah. In April. Yeah. And then obviously when you had said we're not really going to gain much size in such a short space of time. So I kind of obviously had to think about it, and I went, you know what? The only reason why I was wanting April was because I was buzzing. I was like, I'm getting in good shape now, do you know what I mean? Like I could probably do this now. And then I'm going, but I could be bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I was looking at PCA, and I was looking at some of the first timers, and I'm going, fucking Jesus Christ, there's that way. Some of the guys are huge. Do you know what I mean? So, what my focus now is, what I would like to do is get a good bit of size. I want to be the guy that steps into first timers, and everybody's just going to go, fuck me. He's one of the before he imposes.
I'll tell you the truth, mate. 100% you could be that. I mean, I've spent a lot of time looking at your physique because I know that you want to compete. And obviously, I want to take everyone that I work with to compete. I want to take them in there to basically, exactly like you said, to make massive impact, right? We're going to compete. Let's bring the best version of you on stage. And looking at your physique, I mean, honestly, the muscle that you carry now is plenty. Like, I love the way the front poses are, the quads, the way they are, the thickness that you've got, the roundness that you've got, the pop that you've got. When I look at you, the only area where we need to add more size, if I'm honest, is the posterior chain, the back. We add that, and my goodness, it's going to be ridiculous. You've got to realize that we're going to go through, and I don't know because I haven't asked you this. So this is real as hell. Have you ever actually done a structured bulk?
No.
This is what music to my ears, because you know, Louise had never done a structured bulk neither, and it blew our minds how much muscle she put on, right? So I'm excited to see, how do you progress when we're thinking about your training, planning your training, thinking about your diet all the time, thinking about continuing keeping cardio in there, feeding you up when you need to be fed up, pull you down when you need to be pulled down, and just really going on this campaign of size. I think it's going to be transforming in what it does for your physique, and I'm really excited to see how it goes, because we do that right, and then we line you up for a prep, then it's game over. You know?
No, I've never, as I say, usually when I'm sort of cutting down, it's for a holiday, and then it's 2 week all inclusive. So I'm eating, and then I'm coming back, and I actually don't even really go to the gym for like a month or two, and then I just eat, and then I just rebound and gain it all back. I mean, don't get me wrong, this week I've just, all I want to do is eat, and it's hard not to, but now I know you've sent the plan over. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to my food shop tomorrow. So hopefully what I've done this week ain't going to be too much damage, because I'm going right back into an actual structured plan again. Do you know what I mean? Which is something I've never done, and I'm quite looking forward to it, because I know I'm going to get more food, and I love eating. I'll eat it. But the good thing is, I think what I've realised, right, is that I need a routine and a plan. Yes. Because as soon as I came off that plan, I was like, what am I having for my lunch on Monday? What? What am I having for my dinner? I don't
Crazy. No, you're right. Once you've got that focus, then it's like people, they will say like, how do these results happen? But you're absolutely right. Like, understand that the last 10 weeks we worked in a capacity where every meal, you know what you're eating. Every session, you know what you're doing. You know how much cardio you're going to do. You know what supplements you got to take. And the beautiful thing about it is that when you're in that routine, progress happens. And I think the beautiful thing as well is that when you've got, like myself here, and continuously working with you, continuously evaluating you, because do you know the truth is, you know, for a lot of people, they will come out of a cut phase, like you said, they'll blow it over 2-3 weeks, then they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with their diet. They don't know what to do. And it kind of like, you just let loose. You never get back onto routine. Whereas this, to be honest with you, taking a week off is absolutely minor. It's not gonna, you can't physiologically gain body fat in just a couple of days. So you eating is just you enjoying yourself, letting the body relax. But once we get onto this structure, and I can build you exactly as we've done on the cut, but now we're building up muscle size, looking at your strength, how's that progressing, and looking at key areas of your body, man, I'm telling you, I think you'll enjoy it even more than what we've done, if I'm honest with you. You know what I mean? I've never done a structured gym program, right? Wow.
I don't know if it's going to be for bulking. I don't know if it's going to be 4 days on, 3 days off, or whatever. I don't know if it's going to split. I don't know what obviously the plan you've got in your head for me, but I know it is slightly different than a cut, if I'm right.
100%.
So it's interesting to see that side of it as well. I mean, this is a learning process for me as well, because as you know, I'm obviously wanting to become a coach to try and help people as much as I can as well, because when I was young, maybe about 14, 15, I'll never forget it, right? I always thought I was fat, right? Always thought I was fat. Everybody used to always go, oh, you're big, you're big shoulders and that, but nah. I went on holiday to Tenerife, first time ever going away.
Yeah.
And I never took my top off, right?
Wow.
Never took my top off. Never ever took my top the full holiday, right? So, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know I'm 30 now, right? And it was a good while ago, but that always stays with me. Do you know what I mean? And
completely.
I never thought that I could get into the condition that I did for this photo shoot, and I'm like, that, Jesus Christ, honestly, I still can't believe it, to be honest with you. And you've played a massive part in that. Do you know what I mean? So,
mate, I tell you, it's just a start. It's just a start. It really is, and it's incredible to hear that. And you're right. This is what I love giving people reality, is that when you're there, it's a huge deal, man. It's a huge deal when you're 15 years of age, right? And you're out and you have no confidence because you feel like, I've been there, mate, where you feel like you're embarrassed of what you've got physique-wise. That does stay with you. And when you achieve something, which let's just be real. If we could go back in time right now and I took a picture of you at the end of that photo shoot and I showed it to that 15-year-old boy, there's no fucking way that 15-year-old boy would have believed it, innit?
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
It's crazy, man.
Not a chance.
Crazy.
I know. I mean, it's actually quite sad as well. Do you know what I mean? That's the way that I used to think.
Yeah.
And as the whole body image, everybody, and do you know what I mean? Like, you need to be this or whatever, you need to be this. And that's the way that obviously my generation sort of kind of grew up as well. But I'll never forget that. I mean, going on holiday at 15-year-old worried about taking your top off. I mean, that shouldn't be going through your head.
100%, 100%. And I know that would have played on your mind the whole holiday. How can you relax if you can't take your top off? Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
So it's crazy. And it just shows you how things can turn around, you know, that you weren't blessed genetically, like you put work into this. And if you put the work in and you put the effort and you enlist the right people, you're going to get to where you want to get to. And I mean, you know, the physique that you already built up until like you started working with me, you had a cracking physique. I mean, what's been your sort of approach? Is it just literally being train hard, eat hard?
Basically, I used to go through wee phases where I was trying to lift as heavy as I can, right? I think my max bench was 170 for 2, right? Yeah. And that's the way I used to go. But at that time, I was kind of eating whatever I wanted. Yeah. So I would just try to push weight. And then I would kind of cut back and go, oh, I've got a holiday coming up in 3 months or whatever. Yeah. So I just split the training and just try and do my reps. And that's the way that I've always been. I mean, it was only really before I started taking sort of nutrition and as a part to play in obviously what I was trying to do. Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago when I actually started to kind of follow wee plans, as I had a couple of coaches before you, as I said, and that kind of gave me sort of ideas of how to do it, if you like. But again, it was just basically, and then COVID. I mean, I'll send you a picture when during COVID, and you actually the size of me during COVID.
Really?
I can't believe it when it came up. I mean, I'm talking, I was really fat.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it, but that was because I had nothing else to do but eat. Do you know what I mean? I ended up building a gym in my spare room and everything. Thought that would give me the motivation, but I like to go out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it was there and I did use it now and again, but not as much as I liked. I still ate whatever I wanted while I was doing that in the gym. Do you know what I mean? So it was just stuff like that. That's just the way that I've went through all the years, and obviously people are like, fuck's sake, man, look at the size of you and that, and I'm going, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't see it.
Crazy.
Do you know what I mean? I can't see it, but that has been fun because I honestly didn't think there'd be so many people interested in how I was going to turn it.
Well, the thing is, mate, I think a lot of people locally that know you and people that follow you on the internet, exactly like that. They see your potential. Like me, even listening to you right now, getting the backstory on like your training and how you got here. Man, I'm telling you absolutely straight. And if we weren't having this podcast, this is what I'd be saying to you on a voice note. And that is that, man, like I'm telling you, you're going to be dumbfounded at what you do this year, because this is the truth, which obviously it is, of how you've built your body, which is not being really super structured, not had someone on your tail, not had someone looking at you every bloody week when you're bulking. You know what I mean? Like saying to you, okay, this is what we need to look at. Man, it's going to take you to a different stratosphere. And you know what I love? Is that we make this podcast now and we talk about this 10-week cut that you've done, where you've accomplished the best shape you've ever been in, hands down, a real milestone for you in your journey. Like, you know, you can nail it. You've got the pictures to prove it. You've been for the experience. But the beautiful thing is that where will we be when we sit here in 20 weeks, when we sit here in 40 weeks, when we sit here at the end of your contest prep? Man, it's just going to be incredible to have this whole journey charted.
I might actually be sitting with my top half at the end of the contest prep or not. No, and don't forget the cut thumb. Remember, I cut my thumb and all. I thought that was another time I thought I fucked it. No, 14 years I've been doing ventilation, right? I work with metal, and I have never cut myself. And
when you told me, I thought that deep down, I thought, oh shit, we've got a real dilemma here. If this guy can't train, how are we going to get ready for a photo shoot?
I know, and I'm going, right, what can I do? I says, right, I'll just palm everything. I'll just palm it. And that's basically what I had to do, but I couldn't go as heavy as what I was doing. I mean, lifting the 50s and the 55s and that, I was doing incline chest. Yeah. So I had to drop it to like 40 and just try and rep more. Do you know what I mean? Because the heavier the dumbbell was, it was harder to obviously hold it because of my thumb. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh. And then my mindset did go. It went slightly, and I'm going, no, this isn't working. It's not going to happen. And then it just changed again. I went, no, we need to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to be a couple of weeks. I'll have the bandage back off, and we'll be able to.
There's no doubt about it, man. There's no doubt about it. Just I rate it so much because there you are. You talk about pushing. You got no thumb, no legs, no calves, no cardio, and you're still pushing through, just pumping 40s. Brilliant, man. Well, that's the reality, isn't it? It's the reality. You just don't quit. You just don't quit. That's what it's about. Even you, when you're sitting there just pressing these 40s, you must have thought, fuck me, this is some tough graft.
There was people looking at me at the gym and that going, what's he doing? I was like, I'm just pressing these with my sore thumb, man.
Yeah, you've got the big thumb just sticking out, man. It's just crazy.
I'll never forget, man. Honestly, I'll never forget this at all. I mean, that just goes to show what life's thrown at you. It was just a case of, oh, you think you're doing well? Aye, well, there you go. You're getting a thumb. So what are you going to do now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And, well, I'll just need to continue, won't I?
Yeah, exactly that. That's it. That's what I loved, because you had plenty of hurdles that you could have used. Like you said, you find yourself in these weird positions. All of a sudden, you have to walk 8 floors of flights 2 weeks out from your shoe. It's like, these things are testing, man. When you've got no carbs, it's like, man, I don't know if I'll make it. And even I was thinking, man, I never doubted you, but I was like, he's going through some tests right now. Maybe the photo shoot needs to be delayed. Do you know what I mean? But the truth is, you just kept smashing through. And the beautiful thing is, it all just came together, didn't it? It just all that, and in the end, it just came together.
And that was it. I tell you what, but see after I had the wee glass of red wine and all, I was like, oh, fucking hell. I was like, still a wee bit tipsy after that. That's why I got to sleep nothing. I was like, what? Jesus Christ.
Crazy, it's crazy. And this is the thing, you won't forget it, and it really levels you up. Like after going, like honestly, after going through that, there's not much hard, is there, compared to that? You know what I mean?
Oh, I think that'll be probably the hardest thing I'll have to do, to be honest with you.
It's true, because you pull the food out and all of a sudden, every single task in your day, even talking to another human being, becomes difficult. So when you've been through that and you've kept yourself focused, you kept yourself disciplined, which you did, man, normal day-to-day work don't feel an issue at all, man, does it? It's just
No.
So yeah, brother, I'm just really, really happy to have had you on here and just go through this. It's been excellent, man, to be honest with you.
Right.
Getting the insight into your own mind, getting insight to where you've been and where you want to get to. And what we'll do is, obviously, like, I'm going to throw up your pictures once you get all the ones through, fire them across, get them up. And man, all I can say to you is that, honestly, mate, it's been a privilege, like you connecting with me, moving forward, you know, getting into the shape of your life. And I honestly, I know you are as well. I could not be more excited for this gaining phase ahead to see how big and strong we can get you.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Honestly, it's been, even having the Gain Seekers app as well, and everybody on that.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Honestly, it has. And I'm so glad that I did send you a message and we did get started up, because it's the best thing I've done. And I would urge anybody that's even contemplating coming on board with you, just do it.
I really appreciate that. I really do, because I'm so proud, you know, of the work that I do with clients and the work that you guys do, and actually having that community. You know, what I love is that, mate, there's people on Gain Seekers that are not even interested, right, in bodybuilding, but they've seen your journey and they tell me how inspired they get, and that's what it's about. It's about, we might be on different journeys, we might be at different levels, but we can all learn from each other and we can all be motivated by each other. You know what?
That's it.
The beautiful thing is that all the struggles that a person thinks that they only go through, guess what? We all share them. You know, when we ain't got food in our system, when we're doing cardio, we have these doubts. We think that we might not get there. Like, you're sitting there, you've got this physique, and even you're saying that, look, man, 2-3 weeks out, I didn't even know if I wanted to cancel the photo shoot. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
This is it. This is why I love it. It's real people, unreal results. So, brother, I'll leave you to it. Have a fantastic evening. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Okay. I'm just going to...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to go stop my face.
I'm going to go and think about your training plan. What we're going to do with that food. Brilliant stuff, brother.
No, brilliant. Thanks very much for having me as well, right?
Absolutely, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure. Couldn't wait for it. Take it easy, yeah?
See you later on, man.
See you, brother.